This is the Himalaya, which literally means abode of snow. It's the last frontier, the king of all mountains. Here, species have thrived and gone extinct, civilizations came and then destroyed. But the mountains, they have seen it all.
Lights out, it's a cold Sunday morning.
My name is Rohan, and the mountains, my home. I believe that before one takes a step outside into the paths unknown, one must truly understand where he belongs.
I feel like it's open.
This is my winter, a winter where I explore and film my own backyard through travel, adventure, music, practically anything that can slow time down for me. You can call this my quest for redemption, my path to inspiration, a test of spirituality, a way to become a young fool again. Because this is my way back home.
Lights out, it's a cold Sunday morning. I think it's snowing now. No more cellular phones.
I'm on my way to the holy town of Dhramshala, where there's a festival happening. It's called Chechu, which actually means a fair. The festival of Chechu is basically a commemoration of the birth of Padmasambhava, who was a big saint during the 8th century. So to celebrate his birthday, they do this whole fair, which started not so long ago, and we're going to go check it out. So this is Dhramshala. It's a very peaceful town. It's a very small town as well. A town that surrounds a lake. And it's a very beautiful place to be. Hundreds and hundreds of pilgrims from all around Himachal, say Kinnaur, Spiti, Lahore, people from Ladakh, people come from Bhutan, Nepal, pretty much all the Buddhist nations. A lot of people come down here today to celebrate Guru Rinpoche, which is Padmasambhava.
जो बुद्धिस्ट का जो साल होते हैं पहले महीने की 10वीं में 10 तारीख के दिन ये छिशु समारोह किया जाता है। ये एक अनुष्ठान है, ये मेला नहीं है, ये एक धार्मिक अनुष्ठान है।
It's amazing to see so many different faces because everybody is in their traditional attire. So it's I feel a little underdressed, but I'm really enjoying it over here. It's very peaceful. It's exceptionally peaceful.
I was walking around the lake, checking out the various knickknacks up for sale, when suddenly I got pushed into a mad stampede. Everyone was pushing their way into the monastery for the main event of the day, the Cham, also known as the Devil's Dance. Once upon a time, there was a tantric magician named Padmasambhava. He traveled far and wide, spreading the teachings of Dharma. He traveled to the kingdom of Zahor, where he met Princess Mandarava and initiated her into Buddhism. The king of Zahor heard rumors of love brewing between the princess and Padmasambhava and ordered for the great master to be burnt alive. The fires raged for 7 days and 7 nights. When the king came to inspect the burning pyre, he was shocked to see a lake at the center of which was Padmasambhava, who had manifested himself into a young boy seated on top of a lotus. The king bowed down to the great master and accepted his divine teachings. It is believed that those who visit this holy lake and pay reverence to Padmasambhav, their lives will become meaningful by gaining wisdom and eventually the state of enlightenment. A few kilometers above Rivalsar is a place called Dupug, where there are a series of caves.
This is a bit too narrow for me. This is my shoe size, and that's alright. Anyways, there is no space left. I'm stuck.
It was in these caves that Padmasambhav meditated for almost 12 years. It feels kind of claustrophobic inside. The air is very dense, but at the same time, there is a sense of calmness surrounding me. Amongst all the others, I place mine. So. A pilgrim's journey is not complete without paying a visit to the caves, lighting a butter lamp, and finally tying a prayer flag, sending a message out to the gods.
Lights out, it's a cold Sunday morning.
I'm leaving the snowy mountains behind and heading for the foothills, where spring is just about setting in. I have to say this, that driving along these long winding roads, watching the landscape whiz past me, listening to my favorite tunes, is something that never gets old. It's almost therapeutic. This is the lush green valley of Kangra. I have never really been to this corner of my backyard, and that's why I'm taking a step back into the past, probably to the very beginnings of this region's rich history.
So this is the entrance to the Kangra fort, which is almost more than 5,000 years old, and that's during the time of Mahabharata. When you come in over here, they give you these audio guides, which I think is a really cool thing, because you get to know so much more about the place, and you just don't walk around. Like, I've been listening to the first bit almost like 3 times already, which is just about the gate and what used to happen around the gate. They say you can't step in, you shouldn't step into the main gate with head first. You should always go leg first. So in case if there's any enemy on the other side, you don't get your head shot off first. So yeah, stuff like this you can always listen to on an audio guide, which is pretty interesting. And the cool thing is, the voiceover is someone like David Attenborough, and there's nice background music to it, and it just puts you into the whole zone.
Walking through this fortress, this ancient architectural marvel that is still standing tall today, I can't help but wonder what it would have been like once upon a time. People dressed in silks and jewels, children running around playing games, women giggling and gossiping, soldiers riding on their horses through the alleyways, and conspiracies brewing behind closed doors. These stone walls have witnessed everything. They whisper tales of a forgotten time. Stories of love and war, of joy and grief, of honor and treachery, of abundance and greed.
I mean, since the time of Alexander, all the way to the Mughals, till the Sikhs, everyone tried to conquer this place, and they attacked it on numerous occasions. But at the end of the day, the fort always came back to the Katoch dynasty, which were the rulers of Kangra at one point, and the fort belonged to them. And it is a highly impregnable fort, and it was also highly coveted during those days. It's pretty interesting to know these facts when you're walking around the fort, you know. It just puts you into a completely different place. The Katoch dynasty, they used to store a lot of their precious jewels and their treasure basically in these wells. This fort was actually a really, really grand fort at one point, and the area behind me, it actually had 7 stories. But in 1905 there was a huge earthquake which pretty much destroyed everything, and what's left is what we can see right now. There's a saying that goes around over here in the Kangra Valley, and that is, he who owns the fort rules Kangra.
Standing here, on top of this fort, I can see everything. The mighty Dholadhar range, standing like a formidable guardian, and nestled in its lap, the vast plains of the kingdom of Kangra. Who wouldn't have wanted to be the king of this paradise? Kangra Valley has a lot to offer, like this small village called Bir. For a tourist, there is absolutely nothing here. But for a traveler, it's a gold mine.
So we are driving around in Bir, and it's nice sunset time, and we are actually heading to this monastery.
Bir is a sanctum of peace and harmony. There are many monasteries and institutes of Buddhist studies sprawled across this area, just like this one. Personally, I love visiting monasteries. They are mostly similar in structure, but each one has its own charm. At the same time, I get to connect with the guy on the other side. But mostly I think it's got to do with the pure energy surrounding these places. I've come to Bir for a reason, to do something which has always been on my bucket list. But I'm going to have to wait a bit longer for that.
Lights out, it's a cold Sunday morning.
just checked into this hotel, which is nothing like a hotel. It's more like a home. This is actually run by a colonel over here, a retired colonel, and he has his house over here. He has a couple of cottages, and he has a couple of horses, and he's a pretty interesting man.
I am Jyotinder. In the army, I am popularly known as JP. It stands for Jyotinder Pal. I was in the army for about 26 years. Well, while we were in the army, like my wife just said, that this was our dream to start something of our own. So we were deciding what is best suited for us and for our temperament.
He has his own veggies growing over here in his greenhouse, and just to see the colonel living his retired life, and it's actually very close to what I have imagined back in my place. The colonel asked us to come on a walk with him, and just to show us around the village and the tea estates over here, and it's just nice to take a walk through the village, because usually you don't, when you're driving past it, you miss all the little things. Now that he's taking us on this nice tour, it's pretty interesting to see that Beed has got a different side to it.
Oh, sir, क्या बात है सरकार, बड़े दिन लगा के आ
दूध
गया।
निकाल दिया?
हैं?
दूध निकाल लिया?
और क्या?
ये निकालना चाहते हैं दूध?
वो आपने पहले क्यों निकाला?
ये ना निकालना दूध?
किधर निकालना है? क्लासे बिठा देंगे गाय के नीचे।
निकाल के देखना ना?
हाँ
निकाल रही है?
थोड़ा बहुत निकलेगा।
I think cows just keep eating all day. That's all they do. Eat and produce milk. Eat, produce milk. Just see the amount they're eating. There's all nothing is coming out.
ऐसे।
Yeah.
ठा। ये है ना?
हाँ.
ये आपकी उंगली है, ऐसे।
अच्छा सिर्फ ऐसे. Okay, there you go.
Practice.
This is all practice, huh?
All practice.
This looks simple on TV, you know.
Yeah.
But when you try it, nothing happens.
No.
ऐसे पकड़ो। ऐसे। ऐसे। जैसे ये स्ट्रॉन्ग है वैसे इनकी गाय स्ट्रॉन्ग है, और बाकी मेरी गाय मेरे जैसे शरीफ है।
This stone is called Wazir Chakka. In Guru days, the village panchayat used to come and sit here and address all the villages from here. My grandfather was given the title of Zeldar, which means he had about 400 villages under him. Whatever he said and whatever he decided was the last word. And all the villages, you can imagine about 400 villages, people from different villages coming in, him addressing. And those days, there were no roads, there were no cobbled paths, just fields.
Whenever you travel into the mountains, you feel a change in the vibrations, you feel a change in your mental makeup. I don't know why that happens. I've still not been able to explain that. You know, Beer is special, and then this place of ours, and a lot of our guests have told us that they, you know, get a special vibe over here. It makes them feel happy and positive when they're here. So, I don't know. I can't really explain that. But that's a question I think about every day. And many times I don't try to explain it to myself. I just try to, you know, live in the moment and be happy doing what I'm doing. And I think our best comes out then.
So we're gonna go meet our pilots now, because we are going to fly.
कितना डेंजरस है एक हिसाब से?
डेंजरस एडवेंचर है, डेंजरस तो लेके चलना ही पड़ेगा मान के.
हाँ जी.
It's dangerous. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise, because it is dangerous. Every kid's childhood dream to fly. I think it's inherent. Some people forget it, some don't. I didn't. That's for it.
So here we are on top of the mountain in Billing. This is our takeoff point.
ये आपका फ्लैग है,
यहाँ से जैसे ग्लाइडर उठाएंगे, ग्लाइडर आपको पीछे की ओर खींचेगा, आपको आगे की ओर वेट पुश करना है और रन करना है। आपको बैठने का जरूरत नहीं है, यू हैव टू रन। ग्लाइडर आपको ऑटोमेटिक उठाएगा चलते चलते, चाहे हम लोग इस फ्लैग से आगे भी चले जाए, आपको चलते रहना है। आपको कितना भी खाई में चले जाए, यू हैव टू रन, कीप रन। ठीक है, ना ही बैठने का कोशिश करना, ना ही जंप मारने का। ठीक है,
So I just have to run and not think of anything else and just run. I can do that. I should be okay.
साइकिल लगाया ना, मैं खाली आपकी
You're completely playing this game with the air, like, and searching for these points which will lift you high up enough and keep you airborne for longer. This experience has changed my, outlook towards the sport, because I used to think it's quite dangerous, which it is, but at the same time it's a lot of fun, and which sport isn't dangerous? I think I'm going to take up this sport. I think next time I come back to Beer, I am definitely taking this up, for sure.